My good friend Frank Cornejo. Frankie, bro, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. This is I've been off the air for a little bit, but I was trying to take a break because I'm doing my groups and all that, preparing myself for when I do go to board. I want to be with my 2 feet planted and ready for board. But yeah, I'm back in the air. I'm trying to do my thing so I can help some kids out or some young girls or something to change their lives, even some adults that can hear me out and might change their life. I'm doing
One
good.
hundred
How you
percent.
doing, Tony?
Hey, I'm doing real good, Mr. Frankie, man. Just enjoying the summer, man. Very excited for a lot of things that are to come. But as always, man, I hope a lot of people out there that really take these stories to heart, and I hope they're inspirational, man, and motivate people to want to change, man, because that road is not the road to go down on, man.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because this road right here, I mean, either you're gonna go 8 feet under and die, or you're gonna change your life and become a all-abiding citizen out there, a taxpayer citizen out there in the streets. Change your life for the better, because this life, you ain't gonna end up, either you're gonna end up in prison or dead or addicted to some kind of drug, that the drug's gonna rule you until you die. Especially with that down out there.
Almost definitely, man. But with that being said, Mr. Frankie, sir, I know the people out there are anxiously waiting for another one of your bangers, man, as I am as well, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you. I'm gonna go ahead
All
and let
right.
you do what you do best, man, and shine bright, Frankie, bro. The floor is all yours, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to tell you guys a story. To I'm going to take you back to Leavenworth. Leavenworth, because when we were in Leavenworth, there's a carnal that got out, and that's Roland Berry. Carnal Roland Berry. He got out of the feds, but he's very lucky that they gave him the opportunity to parole and get out, because I'll be honest with you, we were going to kill him because he did a couple of things wrong, which there's things that you don't do. He went against the rules, and he actually was working with the man, which they do work with the man to a certain extent, but because he was real good with Kenny. Kenny is an officer that was part of over there. This in the Department of Corrections is called it's called ISU. In the feds, they're called SOS. That's what they're called. That's their handles. It's officers, security something. You know what I mean? Well, anyways, there was an officer. His name was Kenny, and Roland Berry was very close to him, where to the point where, in a way, it worked for his advantage, because, see, over in the feds, Roland Berry used to be a barber, so he would cut hair in right there in front of 3 block, and it's in the middle of A block and D block, lower, and he would cut hair right there. They got like a little where you sit down, it's like righteously like when you go to the barber shop, you know what I mean? You sit down, the thing, they got leather right there, they'll shave you, everything. And there's some black dudes, white dudes. Well, Roland had, well, he's Mexicano. He had that chair in the morning, and at nighttime, kind of termite from Clover, he used to cut her in the evening. But in when we used to go to the hole, like all of us from Talifas, even the dudes from Texas, well, Roland Berry, they would walk him to Ag Seg, and you can cut your hair in the hole, and they'll bring the inmate in there. That's the way it is over there. I tell people these stories, and they're like, nah, it ain't like that, but it is. You ask anybody that was in the feds, and they'll tell you, yes, that's the way it is. Well, anyways, the officer would walk Roland Berry to the hole, and he would cut the homie's hair. Well, really, it was all Mexicans, really, because he would cut our hair, the officers from Texas, even the dudes from the G28s, the ones from Puerto Rico that took over the prison over there and came over here. Even the Cubans, the Maralitos, he would cut their hair too. Well, every time he came in and cut hair, well, he would drop off dope. Well, a couple times they caught him. They caught him dirty piss, and one time they caught him with dope. And well, Kenny, he's a SOS officer. You know, he went crying to him. Well, when the war happened with us in Texas, the TS, well, Chapulín, Agato from Texas. Well, when they stab Pipa, they stab Pipa from Texas. Well, they didn't know what happened, but Roland Berry's the one who gave that up. So when we had the war with the M&Ms, Roland Berry at that time was in the hole when he got busted with that dope. Well, anyways, to make a long story short, when we came in the hole, Roland Berry was there in the tier with us, because he over there in the feds, when you come to the hole, all California comes in with you, unless you're just coming on an isolated issue. But that time was a riot with the M&Ms from Texas, not the TS. This was with the M&Ms from Texas, the Mexicana me from Texas. Campeon's the one who gave him the okay to start that clique and go against the TS. And most of them dudes from the M&M Mexicana me were dudes from San Antonio, from Texas. So, anyways, well, when that happened, we come in, and we're right there in the tier with Roland. But then at that time, they're trying to fix Building 63 so they can house us there, because that building was where the Birdman from Alcatraz used to be at, and they turned the whole day room where the Birdman cell, because he had a big cell, because he had birds and all that shit in there when they brought him from Alcatraz. Well, they had to clean all that out, and that building had asbestos inside the building, because that building was built like in 18-something. I'm talking about it's all old hole. It wasn't even haunted. Well, back then, they ended up moving us after like 3 months. They moved us over there, and they moved all Califas. Boom, we all went together, and guess who didn't come? Roland Berry stayed in the Ag Sig, the old hole. So when they moved the dudes from Texas, we're like, why didn't Roland Berry come with us? And we're thinking, well, Willie Bobo and on, because that's Willie Bobo's generation, is saying, no, it's because he picked up a case before we came in. I guess they're separate. So what Termite did, because Termite knew something that happened, what he did in Maryland, Illinois, and Campeon from Hazard gave him a pass. So he goes, talks to Kenny and Alexander. They're the ones who run the SOS. And he told him, look, we want our brother to come over here with us. And yeah, they bring Roland with us over there. But when they bring him, there's 4-man cells, there's 3-man cells, there's 2-man cells, and there's 1-man cells. There's only 3 1-man cells there in Building 63, in the top tier and in the bottom. The bottom tier and the top tier are built the same way. Well, we're in the top. Texas is in the bottom, the M&Ms. So they put Roland inside one of the single cells, and the one that was in there at that time was Veto from Bolden, not Veto from Bolden. He was in there because he was a porter. So he was right there. Those cells are right next to in the front where the desk where the CO sits at. And back then, you got to remember, they don't cuff us up like, you know how they do in the whole cuff you up and then they walk you to the TV room or walk you to the yard. No, they open the door, one cop, and we walk out to the yard, because the yards were outside in the back. There was 4 kennels, big kennels. And it's just not one-man kennels. There's enough room for like 10 dudes in each kennel. And those are the yards they use for us and the dudes from Texas. We would go in the morning, they would go in the afternoon, or we would go in the afternoon, they would go in the morning. But Roland, when he went out, he was going out with us. And when we had day room, we would go to the day room, and he'd come with us together too in the day room. So, but he was kind of leery. He was like you could tell that something was up with him. And at that time, you got to remember, he had only 14 months to go home. So at that time, Roland Berry was down already, like, I think, man, like 20, 27, 20, 28 years, somewhere around there. So when he got busted with that dope, man, he was going to give anything up because he wanted to go home. And that's exactly what he did. And Termite felt that, And one day, Termite, we're drinking in the day room because we used to drink in the day room. They had a TV room, everything in there. They had tables, we played. That's where we used to work out too. All the homies in there. We had mandatory routine every morning if we didn't go to the.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Anyways, Roland wouldn't come out a lot of times. So one day we get drunk, and Willie Bobo and Old Man Gato from San Diego and tell Jesse and me, Termite, and Willie and Beto from Bowling, Eddie Moco from 18th Street, Widow Minor from 18th, said, look, we're going to bring him out, and if he says the wrong thing, we're taking him out. And we already, Termite already made one of them braided strings, because Termite plays guitar, and he had guitar string, so he said, if we do, we're going to choke him to death. So Termite already had one of those, and he made actually two of them. He gave one to me, and he gave one to Beto. And he told him, look, I'm going to hold him, you guys choke him. I said, yeah. So when he comes, we're out there drinking, and he feels something, but he's over by the door, and Willie Bobo's over talking to him one-on-one. They're talking, because you got to remember, Roland Berry and Willie Bobo go way back from YA when the MN was first started, back with Joe Morgan and all them, with Cheyenne and all them, and Tracy and all that. He's way back from that time. So when they're talking, well, all of a sudden he comes, and Willie Bobo shakes his head, and we're like, what? He's shaking his head, no. So he goes and tells Termite, because Termite was the carnal that was pushing to have him killed, because he's the one that told Willie Bobo, when we're in Maryland, Illinois, on the riot with the TS, and we were housed in Maryland, Illinois, Bjorn from Hazard gave him a pass and told him, that's the last pass you're getting. Well, Willie Bobo came and said, no, I need him out in the street because I'm going to send him to Hawaii. Don't worry, I'll talk to Campeon. And he says, look, and he called Roland right to says, look, Hernan, this is your last time we're giving you a pass. This is the second pass we gave you. This is the last time, and I'm sending you to Hawaii. I'm putting my name out for you because if you excuse my language, if you mess up, I'm going to take you out, and I'm going to have my family take you out. Well, he ends up sending him to Hawaii, and he got out that time, and Burley by the chin on my shin, he got out, and he wasn't, man, that day, I'm telling you, it was so thick, the tension in that day room, that he knew that his time was up. He was by the door, because the door right there, if he runs to the door and kicks it while we're choking him, the cop will come open that door and get him out quick. And that cop, man, his name was Barrymore. And this cop, I swear to God, this cop was over 300-some pounds, big old dude from Kansas City. And he was like,
you have 60 seconds remaining.
Them dudes back then were built like monsters, the dudes in Leavenworth from Kansas City. Okay, I'm going back to the story I was telling you about Roland Berry. Well, that day when that happened, I say at that time, Roland had maybe 12 to maybe 11 months to go home. And at that time, he wasn't feeling comfortable living with us up there in Building 63, because Building 63 is like a dungeon, bro. If you ever been in a building like a dungeon and it's haunted, that's the way it is. That building, that whole hole, was built like in 1800 something. It was haunted too. That's another story I'll tell you about the ghost I seen in there. And I really seen ghosts. Now, I'm not. Well, anyways, that day that happened, well, the officer knew something was up, and he would come at the door looking out, and it was already getting I'd say 8:30 somewhere around, because they would let us go. They would let us stay in there all the way to 10 o'clock. Because I'm telling you, it wasn't like the whole. They opened the door and we walked to the cells, and you got to remember those 4 cells. The cells over there are 4 cells, a shower in the cell, and the back window you can open it. Like you can open it, pulls open, and it's bars. So you're not going to escape, but you can get fresh air and everything. Well, there's a shower in there. At that time, it was me, Perico, Rob Rocha, Termite, and Jesse Moreno. We were cellies way in the back. Right across from us was Old Man Gato, Willie Bobo, Kenny Vega, and fucking excuse my language, and what's his name? Ray from Longo. They were cellies. They were right across from us. Well, anyways, we go back and we used to talk, right? Because their cells right across. We can see right in there. They can see in our cell. So we're talking and we're telling Willie, look, man, he was acting strange. Well, the next day, mysteriously they came, rolled him up, and took him to the new hole over there where in the new hole where they built, where they got Silverstein, Tommy Silverstein. In the bottom of that hole is the cell of Tommy Silverstein. That's where they had him housed at. You hear him when they move him down in the bottom, and the top's the new hole. Well, that's where we were at before when they moved us to Building 63. Well, they moved Roland Berry over there. So when that happened, Willie and Termites, we call Kenny, because you can call him anytime. You tell them, they call Kenny and Alexander or London, and they would come, and we told them, hey, what's going on? Why you guys take my brother and took him last night? Well, it happened early in the morning. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. Took him back to the, well, first we asked him where you took him. We didn't know where he took him. And he said, no, we just moved him to the Ag Seg building, the new Ag Seg building, because he has this case pending, and that way he can get out, because we don't want to pick up nothing. And we're like, nah, that don't look right. Well, he said, well, let me see what I can do. And to clean the books, to make it look good, they went and told Roland, and Roland says, from what they told us, Roland said, look, man, you guys shouldn't have moved me like that. Why don't you guys take him some stuff over there, like, because they would bring us food from the dudes in the main line. Because you got to remember, we had dudes who were paying us rent. We had the Cali cartel paying us rent. We had dudes from the Ariano cartel from Tijuana. They used to pay us for taking care of them. So we already had a package coming in of food. Every 2 weeks we would have a package coming in of nothing but food, like cakes, candy bars, soups, everything you buy in the store. Oh, the store's bigger. Even aguacate, pineapple, they sell all that in the store over there. Well, anyways, Roland Berry tells Kenny, hey, take this over, man. You're making me look bad. And so when Kenny brought the whole thing, it's like a whole, you know, the carts where you push, like when you're doing the food carts, when you push the food carts to like to the kitchen, that's how big it is when they come drop off loads. It's like 4 or 5 boxes of stuff. But when Kenny brought it, he gives it a Termite. He says, hey, this is from Roland Berry. It was a box of cookies, of the Oreo cookies, and we already knew what it was. There was dope in there. So yeah, we got it. We got the box, and we go to the back cell and we open it up. It was 2 ounces of heroin. So he gives it to us. So in a way, it cleaned it up. But Termite, at that time, Termite didn't use. So he's like, nah, carnal. He's doing that to win our heart because he knows he's wrong. And Willie tells him, look, man, you got to remember, he's going to go to Hawaii for me. If he does wrong, I'll tell my brothers or my relatives to take him out over there. So he did. He sent him to Hawaii. After he paroled, he went out there. But at that time, as soon as he got out, he was taking care of all of us, sending us money, dope, everything in there so we can, so he won't look bad, because he knew that whole move was look bad. And well, anyways, he goes to Hawaii, comes back, messed up over in Hawaii, and he took off before Willie could send word to take him out. And Willie had an APB out on him, and at that time, Termite's the next one that got out. And Termite was looking for him, and I think Termite and Frankie B, Roland Berry and Frankie B got together, and they ended up taking out Termite before he could push the issue to kill Roland Berry, because he was hiding. He was living over there over there by IE area over there. He was over there running around. But anyways, the reason I tell you these stories is because look at all this that took place. If that would have been you, and you were in that situation, if you didn't have the juice like Roland did, that was an original carnal from back in the early 60s, you would be dead. We would have killed you. But the reason I share this with you, because I don't want one of you guys to get in a position like that. I want you to change your life before you even get in that position. Because
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
When you're in prison, it's a dog-eat-dog world, because anything can happen. Your life is nothing. You're like a pawn, because when you come in, you're a pawn in a chess game. That's all you are. And a lot of times a pawn will get just used and smashed and thrown away. And that's why you got to open your eyes to change your life. I learned that from Joe Morgan. When I first met Joe Morgan, I met him in 1985, or no, 1984 in Deep Seg. I think it was 1984 and 85 in Deep Seg in Palm Hall, but across in Cypress Hall, because he was in the dungeon in the back, the 4 cells in the back. That's where I met him at. And you got to remember, when I first met Joe, Joe told me, at first, I'm not going to lie. When I got out, the only reason I was housed there is because I had a staff assault from CRC. They rolled me up because I was stabbing an inmate, and the cop came, and that inmate, his last name was Machete, the officer. He had a seizure, and when he had the seizure, he hit his head in the corner of the kitchen of one of the rolling carts, and his head popped, and they thought that I assaulted him. I'm not going to lie, the SEALs beat the hell out of me. And then they sent me to Palm Hall because in our CRC, they don't have no hole over there. So they sent me to Chino. And back then, when I went in, the whole Ag Seg was full. There was only one cell, and that was back there in the dungeon where Joe was at. And that's the cell I went to. And when I first got there, I'm not going to lie, I was scared. I was a little kid. I was 18, but I was scared. And when I'm talking to this dude, I'm talking to him. He has a towel tied to because it's like you got to remember, it's a cell within a cell. There's a bars, and they can make and then there's like a room. They can close the window, the door, and they can make it all dark in there. So he had a towel tied from the bars to the window to play cards. And when I'm talking to him, I'm not gonna lie, I had to laugh because I see him, and he's standing, but he only got one leg, and I look in the wall, his plastic leg is leaning against the wall. So when I look at him, and I didn't want to laugh, he called me Conejito. He said, Conejito, what's so funny? And I said, no, nothing, because I'm trying to play it off. I don't want to laugh. And he said, what, you laughing at my leg because I don't got it on? And I'm like, no. He goes, don't let that fool you. I can move. And he showed me. And inside the cell moving, like, without the leg. And I'm like, what the hell? And he told me, that's the first time he told me, he said, look, you're coming into this, you're a little youngster. You got a good heart. Because I told him the story, what happened with the CEO and everything. He goes, right now they're going to pull you out, and they're going to try and turn you. I said, what do you mean turn you? They're going to pull you out right now and ask you, what are we doing back here? And let me know what they're asking you, because I'm over here. I'm going to be straight up. I'm over here for a couple of murders investigation, and you're not going to be here very long. But I'm telling you, and yeah, right when we're talking, they call me. There's like an intercom back there. Cornell, lieutenant, want to see you. So he points to the intercom. He says, what did I tell you? So he goes, remember, tell me what they say. And yeah, I go out. And yeah, right when I go out, I swear to God, I walked out. And you go down the hall. Go down the tier, and it's like it's all fenced in. Inside the cypress in the front, all those were PC. That's the only place where they had a PC in the back. They're all good. So I go like that. I'm looking in all the cages, and the dude that I stabbed, he's inside there. He hollers at me, and he says, hey, why'd you do that? And I'm like, because you had it coming. So when I come out of there and I come in the front, and there was like 20 COs. There was a captain, and then there was a dude named Mendoza. And Mendoza, he was like a lieutenant, and he was squad, and he was running everything. And he tells me, what is he doing back there? You know who that is? And I'm like, no. He goes, that's the leader of the Mexican mafia. You better watch out, kid, because you're going to end up like him, and you're going to ruin your life and all this. And I said, if you let us know what's going on back there, you let us know this whole little thing, the stabbing will go away, and we'll send you back to CRC. And I told him, shit, I didn't do no stabbing. What are you talking about? Oh, you going to do that? You didn't see the dude you were hollering at right now? He just came back from the hospital. You stabbed him pretty good. And I'm like, man, I didn't do no stabbing. So he's like, oh, yeah, you want to be like that? And they started roughing me up a little bit. And I'm not lying. You can hear when they're trying to rough me up. And Joe hollers from back there, and he said, Mendoza. And he hollered loud, and he's like, and he act, what? He told the cops, be quiet. Mendoza. And he says, yeah. He goes, hey, it's El Jose. Hey, that's my little buddy right there. You better not even touch him. And he got scared, bro. And I never seen somebody like that gets scared like that.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm not gonna lie. Back then, I gotta admit it, and I'm not trying to glorize it, but the power, it fascinated me because I said, well, how could this guy have this power over all these guys? Because he said, hey, no, don't touch, send him back. And they say, okay, Colonel, let's go back. And we go back there, And as soon as I go back, they were going to put me in the cell. And Joe says, no, he got an hour freeway time. He can be outside because you get an hour freeway time walking in front of the cells because he wanted to know what they said. So he's all right, Joe, it's cool. So they leave me out there, and they close the gate, and I'm right there. And he goes, because he likes talking Spanish. He said in Spanish, ¿qué te dijeron? And I tripped out because this guy, you got to remember, he looks white, but he loved talking Spanish. He had a radio too back there, and he had it always in Spanish music. And I told him, I said, no, they were trying to, like you said, they were trying to get me to talk, see whatever I can hear about what's going on with you back here and everything. And he says, I told you. He goes, look, man, for that favor, I'm going to look out for you because these dudes are always trying to do that. And he goes, remember, this is a dog-eat-dog world. If you always keep it straight and keep it straight with me all the time, I'll look out for it, but don't ever cross me or don't ever lie to me. And if, remember one thing, if you ain't never did nothing wrong, then don't worry about it. Because a lot of vatos, that's their problem. They come in and they worry about things like, oh, what happens if this guy finds out I did this or this and this? Because if you didn't do nothing wrong, and you ain't got to worry about it, nothing's going to happen to you. That's why when I got to Old Folsom, there was a lot of guys getting stabbed and everything, but I see they're getting stabbed because they owe money or they're lying or they said something that they couldn't accomplish. So I said, no, I'm not going to put myself in that position. And I never did. And I'm lucky I never been stabbed one time. And the reason I share this with you, because I see these young kids come in, and they're only in the main line like maybe a year, 2 years, and then they say, and when I see it, I say, what happened? He's like, oh, I got tired. I say, tired? You went in the main line 2 years, 3 years? What happened? He's like, oh, no, I owe money, man. I messed up. I owe money, and they were trying to double it on me. And then they had me doing burpees all day.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I just locked up. And I'm like, the reason I tell you is because, look, this is what's going to happen to you. Either you're going to be doing burpees all day because you owe money. They're going to use you to stab somebody. You're probably going to kill somebody, get caught up and pick up more time, and you're never going to get out. So you got to think about that. But before I hang up, I want you to remember my Cash App, Free Conejo, because I need whatever money you can donate, because I'm trying to give me an attorney because I'm getting pretty close to go to board, and I want you to help me out. $1, $2, whatever. It's all this is the money sign, the money sign, and it's just Free Conejo, FREECONEJO. That's the way it is. The Cash App is just Free Conejo. Don't need $1, $2, $3. Help me out. Like I help you out with these stories. I'm gonna let you guys go. I love all you guys, and I'm coming back.